You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back, Rudrance, for Black and White Sports. Well, John Morant's going to wake up this morning and be like, oof, thank goodness, somebody to take the heat off of me. And we are talking about NFL running back, Cincinnati Bengals running back, former University of Oklahoma running back, Joe Mixon. Now, you might be like, Joe Mixon sounds familiar. Well, number one, he's probably a top 5 running back in the NFL. Number two, he famously had that Oklahoma video surface where he knocked a female clean out, it seemed like. And that surface, he kind of worked to try to get past that in his career. But he's had some issues as of late, and this seems to be a possible major issue. I know there's a lot of things floating around about this in the allegedly category online. I've got a couple of different sources. I've got Fox 19 out of Cincinnati, and I've got PFT. Sheriff's deputies enter Joe Mixon's home after shots fired. No arrests made. Sheriff's deputies in Hamilton County, Ohio, entered the home of Bengals running back Joe Mixon early Tuesday morning after responding to, quote, shots fired call, but no arrests were made. Fox 19 in Cincinnati reports that a juvenile was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The report says deputies initially responded to reports of shots fired at around 8:30 p.m. on Monday. During the night, deputies put crime scene tape around the house. At about 11:30, deputies were seen banging on Mixon's door and telling the homeowner to come out. At about 1:30 a.m., a law enforcement officer arrived with an envelope of documents, and shortly after, deputies entered the house and were seen searching with flashlights. The crime scene tape was taken down around 3:20 a.m., and deputies left without making an arrest. A month ago, a misdemeanor aggravated menacing charge was filed against Mixon, but those charges were dismissed the next day. The 26-year-old Mixon has spent his entire 6-year NFL career with the Bengals. Bengals Director of Player Personnel Duke Tobin said last week that he doesn't know if the Bengals will retain Mixon, who is under contract with a cap hit of $12.8 million for the 2023 season. That's a hell of a lot of money. He may have just sealed his fate. Fox 19, deputies enter Joe Mixon's home amid investigation into injured juvenile. Now, it adds very little context to the situation, but shots fired left the juvenile injured in Anderson Township. These videos are nothing more than a couple of people walking around the house, and it's nothing to see here kind of thing. Deputies responded to the 7900 block of Ayers Road around 8:30 for reports of shots fired. Juvenile was taken to the hospital, minor injuries. There was at least one evidence marker left in Mixon yard. Deputies extended the crime scene tape, they're saying around 11 p.m. A half hour later, deputies were observed banging on Mixon's door, loudly identifying themselves as sheriff's deputies and telling the homeowner to come out. They allowed a car into the driveway around 12:15 a.m. A law enforcement officer arrived with an envelope around 1:30. 3 deputies entered around 2 a.m. carrying note-taking supplies. And they go on to talk about the crime scene tape being removed. And in case you're just wondering, far as like, you know, what kind of player is Joe Mixon in the realm of you know, where he is in football right now, how much of a contributor he is. He's a major contributor. You're talking 5,378 yards, 40 touchdowns. That's on the ground. 1,763 yards, 10 touchdowns through the air. I mean, he's a pass catcher. He caught 60 balls for Joe Burrow this year with 2 touchdowns. He's had 1, 2, 3 seasons over 1,100 yards. He's only made 1 Pro Bowl. Wow, that's actually kind of surprising that he only made 1 Pro Bowl. I would probably say he was a top 5, 6 running back in all of the NFL, but he's had brushes with trouble as of late. And you have to wonder, especially if the Bengals were already looking to cut him possibly, you have to wonder if maybe he just didn't cut himself. I will say this. There are a lot of things floating around on Twitter right now involving this. A lot of allegedly, a lot of a kid knocked on the door. Joe opened the door. Allegedly, speculation, complete speculation. We're not saying Joe did this, but opened the door and something may have happened involving shots fired. Okay? By whom? We don't know. To whom? We don't know. Fully acknowledging that could be completely false. Okay? But we don't know. We don't know. Nonetheless, this is very serious. And yet again, another black eye on NFL players around the league, as it just seems like some cannot keep their names out of the news cycle. It's unbelievable. I mean, obviously, this guy's made some money. You know, these guys are making a life-changing, generational kind of wealth, and they just cannot seem to keep their head screwed on straight. At 26 years old, Joe Mixon, he's got a lot of football left, and he's got impressive numbers right now. I mean, who knows? If he stayed with the Bengals or if he went somewhere else, won a Super Bowl or two, and you're looking up, and at 32 years old, this guy's got 11,000 yards and 100 combined touchdowns. You know, people are talking about his name in more historic ways. So you got to wonder what happened here. Was he directly involved? Where will this go? And will he come out of it facing NFL disciplinary action? You know, will he come out of it? If they were already looking at cutting him, what if he gets cut and doesn't get another job after this incident? That is always possible. You know, I mean, this could have, depending on what further comes out, it could have implications where he cannot find work. Now, the NFL, one could say the moral compass is very low. It's not the strongest moral compass in the world. We know that. That's why it's called the National Felon League. And this may take, a different turn, and he could still find work somewhere if he's willing to play for a veteran's minimum. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Black and White Network supporters, make sure you go over and check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. 25% off USA First. 25% off USA First. Go now.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.